We done found our groove. You can come get with it too. It's the crew.
What's poppin', Crew Nation? We're back with another episode of Say It With Me, Love and Christian Hip Hop. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, the spirit of love and Christian hip hop is all over CHH as of late. And, you know, I know y'all thought that Love and Christian hip hop, you know, y'all didn't know if it was going to be renewed for another season. And, you know, it was a lot of people clamoring and, you know, there was a lot of support. Petitions went out. And, you know, y'all have one person to thank. And that's John Keith. John Keith stalled the vision of Love and Christian hip hop back in 2020. And he knew at some point it was going to catch on. And he saw that vision and he blessed you guys with a diss record to the one person that likes to be dissed. And so real quickly, just for a second, everybody go ahead and thank Mr. John Keith for his brilliance and his fourth visioning to make this happen. Shouts out to him. Crew Nation, really quickly, I want to tell y'all to go and check out DJ Lawson Found's new record, Beautiful, featuring the sweet sounds of Frankie Bells. And y'all know Jared Sanders came with the bars. DJ Lawson Found is one of those people that has an immaculate ear for music, so y'all should go and check that out. Beautiful, out now.
Because it's more than a more friend of yours. Oh, yeah. I be looking to mess, you be looking to trust. I be thinking them less, you be thinking of love, and I be under the rest. Money looking a little too bummy for the stretch, but it's two sides to it, like I said.
But we have more episodes of Love and Christian Hip Hop. Most recently, Mr. Derek Minor had to tell his fans to chill out. Mr. Derek Minor is a Christian hip hop artist who ran with Reach Records and had a huge name out of that and was able to establish his own brand after leaving that label. When he left, that was probably one of the first bigger blows that Reach Records took outside of KB leaving as well. So Mr. Derek Minor is a very well-known name within the space of Christian hip hop. He not only established his own label, but put a lot of artists on and has gotten them a lot of syncs. And you all know that syncs are a very big deal within Christian hip hop. Shouts out to Mr. Derek Minor. He then resorted to start making positive music, not necessarily blatant Christian hip hop, but more positive music because he was making that positive dollar. Man, Mr. Derek Minor, you was hearing his music everywhere. Gaming commercials, NBA commercials, 2K commercials. Like, it was ridiculous. But it was W's, and that's what he did. He built that for them. So that's kind of the realm that he was in. But he never truly lost the Christian hip-hop fan base. Those that were more progressive, Christian hip-hop fans really stayed and rocked with him. Those that loved him truly for him stayed and rocked with him. Derek Minor's situation is weird because I feel like Derek Minor kind of like left Christian hip-hop. But he never like left or disowned Christian hip-hop. His exit was a little bit different from a lot of other people that we've had leave the space, within the space. His exit was a little bit different, and so when he came back to, he is in fact a Christian hip hop artist. There never was. I never saw any backlash of anything outside of his normal back and forth with his fans. But that's the kind of relationship he's always had. He's always had this honest, authentic relationship with his fans, and they know he a little bit gutter. Like, they know that Derek Minor, you know what I'm saying, is from the trap. Like, they know this and they rode with this, and so it was okay for a little bit. So Derek Minor's situation is very different. It's very unique when we talk about Christian hip hop artists within the space. But Mr. Derek Minor, just to give you all that quick rundown, did a challenge, more on the way. Dope record has out. He has out right now with No Big Deal, and I believe John Keith is on that record as well. Be looking out for them, man. There may wind up being a duo to come out of that indie tribe. Like, if there's ever a situation, you guys know how it go. It's this oldest time group, stay together for a little bit, but there's kind of people that have a bit more chemistry in that group, and then they go on to do, it's highlighted, right? They go on to do more things together. I mean, y'all know how this go. So with that being said, yeah, be on the lookout for that, man. I'm seeing some interesting things. But Mr. Derek Minor had a challenge, and y'all know how these challenges go. These artists do these challenges so they get, more play on their records. People like Derek Minor really like exposing untapped talent. And Mr. Derek Minor, being the trap whisperer, placed an artist on his Instagram that wasn't a Christian hip hop artist. Whoa, I know. Hey, you're a bit surprised. It was a bit shocking. I can understand, as some of the words that were mentioned aren't your typical I know Christian hip hop artist curse words, right?
At card, niggas pull your whole card. You don't know about Davo, pull that nigga black card. I'm back on in the track gold and the microphone on 100. I can't stop him on go mode to the bank show 1000000. Fuck where I was supposed to go.
So, with that being said, I can understand the shock from the fans, but they were very upset and saying that he didn't understand the assignment. And Derek Minor had to stand up for this guy. He had to tell, hey, y'all need to chill out, man.
I got a guy in there that said some cuss words. Big deal, bro. Y'all hear cuss words everywhere. Like, in movies. Y'all ain't writing a movie saying stop putting cussing in Marvel movies.
Like, there's a better way. Like, but at the end of the day, who's right and who's wrong in that situation? Derek Minor, he acknowledged in this video, he knows that his platform is mostly Christians. He knows that he has built his success on the support of Christians, right? On the support of Christian fans. So he understood how it could happen, but his whole thing was like, yo, man, chill out. Me watching it was kind of wild, because I'm like, man, this nigga ain't never gonna do this again. He probably really saw this beat from this Christian hip hop artist that was fired. Now, of course, Derek Minor had to make the decision of whether or not to put him on there, but from an artist's perspective, it was fire. But Christian hip hop has gotta stop acting like everything is supposed to be cookie. Guys, man, we've had this conversation. Again, I ask, what year is it? We've had this conversation, guys. Every form of Christian hip hop doesn't have to be ABC and clean. Shouts out to people like Elon Montana, Paris Carriz, who's going to put an explicit sticker on it, but give some semblance of their faith and where they are in life and how they move forward. Shouts out to Foggy Raw, same thing. Y'all gotta allow Christian hip hop to grow. Y'all have to allow Christian hip hop to get out of this infant stage. My thing is, it's music for everybody. Shouts out to George Rose, right? He makes music for elementary kids. Not saying that people can't vibe out to it, because he makes very vibey music. He's got a dope album that he just released not too long ago. Anointed, I believe. But he makes music because he's a dancer. He makes music that people can move to. And who's going to move the most? The high school kids, the middle school kids. They want a whip. They want a nay-nay. They want their old town road. And that is what George Rose is excellent at doing. He's going to give you something with a catchy hook, and he's going to have you moving. But you have other artists like a Foggy Raw, who's Christian hip hop adjacent, and we can get into that later. But you have other artists that are made for a different type of crowd. I personally saw Paris Carriz and MC, shouts out to them, and that World 45 camp be able to move in and out of circles that necessarily has nothing to do, that doesn't necessarily have anything to do with us. And they did it with so much grace and precision. And yet they were still able to share their outlook through faith through their music. And it was able to be, and people knew where they stood. Like that's different. Shouts out to BYOD. Seeing them within the same space. Providing that same sense of we're Christians, but there's a real world out here. There's a different way to show people the love of God, right? That's what we've built our space on. That's why the hip hop corner, look, I tell y'all this all the time. Everybody's assignment isn't the same, and that's what we wanted to highlight. Everybody's battlefield is different. Everybody has a different region. Christian hip hop has to grow up. You do have to be aware of your fan base, and that's why I say big props to Derek Minor, because he was aware of, and he put it out of how and who was in his comment section. Like, he got it. We need more of that, the accountability, but still show where you differ and why. But everybody's not going to make George Rose music. Everybody's not going to make Caleb Gordon music. This is why I like Portia Love so much, because she makes a different type of female rap. Child Like CC, shouts out to her. Kid Lee, obviously Wande. The space is buzzing with them, but everybody's assignment is different. Like, not too many people are going to reach the women that Portia Love or not too many people are going to be able to reach the women that some of the women at the top are able to reach. Some of these women that really come out the trap, y'all know who y'all are going to be able to reach a different breed of Christian hip hop fans. All y'all did in that comment section was prove what everybody says about Christians to be true. I'm not saying that you can't judge righteously. I'm not saying that you shouldn't judge. I'm saying that you should pay attention to what's going on. As Derek Minor said, read the room. My thing is, y'all niggas know Derek Minor. Like y'all have had plenty of discussions and back and forths with Derek Minor. So it really shouldn't be a surprise where he lands on this and kind of how he feels. He's given you all his heart behind the Trap series. Right? So I don't know, man. I don't know, man. I don't know. The other thing that took off, the other thing that happened, the other thing that took place was Jafia Life decided to fire off a few tweets towards Christian hip hop. Jafia Life is a Christian hip hop vet, which according to him, the Tastemakers and Sway specifically knew who he was. But one thing he did not do was shed the Christian hip hop title or the gospel rapper title. Again, I ask, guys, what year is it? Where we at, man? What's going on? I could have sworn we've had this conversation as well. I know Jafia Life knows that we've had this conversation because he's with Christian hip hop. He understands what's going on. But he did in fact big up Dayton, who was on Sway and didn't waver and gave direct answers or claim Christian hip hop or something off in that area. And y'all know what it is, man. As we get to mentioning these more higher profile interviews, Sway in the Morning, This Is 50, Vlad TV, Good Morning America, BET. The list of Christian hip hop artists gets smaller and smaller. And the majority of the time, you're going to say Reach Records. So obviously, that's what this points to. And we know that the biggest scapegoat of this movement is Goat Cray, right? Shouts out to Cray. So we already are going to tie that together. It ain't no way that you can. And I don't think Jafia cares, because KB said, hey, wait a minute now. I too was on Sway in the Morning. And Jafia Life was like, oh yeah, I know. But you said you make good news music. What's that? It was hilarious. Not it was hilarious. KB didn't respond. I didn't think KB. Now, if that was a meme, like if that was him, yeah, he definitely would have responded. But KB didn't respond. KB bowed out respectively. But it seems that Jafia Life was a bit irked. He was a bit irritated that every time Christian hip hop artists get looks, they kind of shun the Christian rap title. I think that this was also brought on by, now I definitely could be wrong, but I believe this was also brought on by, if you guys have been paying attention to Foggy Raw, he kind of blew up in the Christian hip hop ranks, but his music was definitely different than a lot of people who was making Christian hip hop. So he's now considered Christian hip hop adjacent, and he is making major moves, right? Christian hip hop adjacent. What is that? That is someone who has some association with Christian hip hop, but doesn't necessarily make specifically or exclusively Christian hip hop music. They may mention God once or thrice, or you know where they stand because of the relationships that they have, but their music isn't explicitly Christian hip hop. Those we can name would be Paris Courage, J-Way, Foggy Raw, Eli Montana, and ones of that nature. I think there's more. I know I'm missing some. Hey, if y'all know examples of more Christian hip hop adjacent artists, I think Jude Barclay would be considered that as well. If y'all know more Christian hip hop adjacent artists, put them in the description below. I'm sure there's even older artists. Spazzy Rocket, Xavier Omar as well would be one of those Christian hip hop adjacent artists. He actually still has a lot of good relationships within the space. But Mr. Foggy Raw was recently seen or has been having a crazy month. It's been kind of crazy the past couple months. Foggy Raw recently had a video with Ari Lennox in it, and then shortly after that, after making a viral record with an Alicia Keys sample and getting looks from Drake and Timberland, he ran into Alicia Keys. They linked up. Also found out Swizz Beatz was rooting for him, and most recently he took a photo with G Herbo. So he seems to be making his rounds, and very quickly, I might add. Big shouts out to Foggy Raw. Amazing artist. And these photos aren't exactly Christian hip hop ish, but they don't. They are typical rapper photos. Who knew? The little brother of hip hop acting just like his older brother. But I believe that too kind of led to this, but these conversations aren't that anymore. Like when we are talking about people shedding the Christian rapper title, Christian rap at this point is probably the most popular it has ever been. Speaking of Christian hip hop adjacent artists, shouts out to star Ringo, who's gotten looks from and has appeared on a remix with Joyner Lucas. Bizzle made a response record to Joyner Lucas. I'm sure he saw and heard noise about that. Reason of TDE is now familiar with Christian hip hop. So Christian hip hop, as Sway in the Morning, has been around Christian hip hop for years. Him and T-Bone go way back. So Christian hip hop is way more popular now and is on the forefront. The praised this movie was Christian hip hop influenced. So was very Christian hip hop influenced. The more we have artists going into these spaces that wouldn't necessarily be allowed or wouldn't necessarily be looked at as the right places to go. Shouts out to Thizzle. I remember him telling us that he used to open for secular artists as well. These Christian hip hop is going to get more and more popular. Oh man, you make dope music. Oh, it's Christian rock. Oh, okay. Well, Lecrae's spread little Christian hip hop nuggets all throughout Rock Nation, like being invited to Rock Nation brunches and different things of that sort. The more D1 making, like, D1 getting to make the New Orleans Pelicans theme song, like these things are great. I heard Gazelle, would he be Christian hip hop adjacent as well? Yeah, I'm not too sure. The thing about Aha Gazelle, while he doesn't conform to the Christian hip hop narrative, he doesn't bend to the Christian hip hop rules. Aha Gazelle's music is very and has always been very Christian hip hop. Like, he's one that you've never had to question. His style may be a bit different than what Christian hip hop is used to, but if you actually listen to his music, you've never had to question. Shouts out to Aha. But the more that these artists are able to move in these spaces, the more popular it's going to get. And actually, because of Kanye West, right, it's very popular. What am I saying all of this for? I'm saying all of this because to say that artists get a certain look and they shun the label is ill-informed. In these spaces, especially with these people, B. Simone, shouts out to her. She's an Instagram celebrity. She's not a movie star, but she's an Instagram celebrity. Has been very vocal about Christian hip hop and what she likes about it. Benny the Butcher has talked about 1K Few and then 1K Famo. So it's very popular and it is the in thing. So to say that that is what they're doing, again, is very ill-informed. It's wrong. They get more points for actually admitting they're Christian hip hop artists at this point. How long that's going to last, I don't know. But if you look at the music landscape, faith is a really big subject. And who do we have to thank for that? Kanye West. Kanye West drops Jesus is King. The world didn't know what to do. They listened to it and they enjoyed it. Jesus is Born and Donda all dropped to very, very high acclaim. Christian hip hop artists and Christians alike who didn't rock with Kanye because of everything that he did when he was Yeezus. He went through his Yeezus arc. Suddenly became fans of Christian hip hop. But oh no, you had a couple people that did not budge. But a couple people who were very surprised, who made some surprising changes to their tune by the time Donda hit. But with that being said, again, that's why it's popular now. They no longer have to do that. Was that once something that they did? Yes. But that was something once that they did. After Lecrae went and came back, after we saw the collabs with mainstream artists, after his content got a bit more cryptic, but still was very more out in the open about his faith, that began that first wave of popularity, of major mainstream popularity of Christian hip hop, of people being okay with it. They don't have to do this no more. And I don't know what it was that where he was. Maybe it was the autoplay feature on YouTube. Maybe that's what it was. Because it gets me. It gets me too sometimes. It puts on a video and the quality is so good. And if it's within the past couple years, and granted now these interviews are like 8 years old. Like KB's was 8 years old. But granted, you can get something that's 3-4 years old, and you wouldn't be able to tell unless you actually looked at the date. So I get it. And maybe that's what happened within the situation, but to bring that frustration in the Twitterverse, it's not a good look. I gotta be honest, it's not a good look. Because we've been had these conversations, and they're not the stereotype of Christian artists anymore, Christian hip-hop artists anymore. One person I've never heard deny what they were is Paris Caris. I know we talk a lot about Paris Caris on this channel. Big shouts out to Paris. Big love from the Cruise Hip Hop Corner, man. We see you. Get well. But I've never seen him, no matter the space that he is in, I've never seen him deny the title once. And he continues to get major looks within the city and major looks around. Some people shed the title and get bigger. I'm not saying it hasn't happened. I'm not saying that some of the Christian hip hop artists that are coming up think that that is still the way. But if you look at what has happened, they don't have to. Somebody like a Caleb Gordon, who's getting mentioned by NBA stars, and he's explicitly a Christian artist. It's kind of crazy. People like Maverick City, who's very popular within mainstream culture as well, doing live recordings with Wande. Christian hip hop is way more popular now. Pastor Todd, one of the most popular pastors of this generation, has had people like KB perform at his conferences. It is popular. They don't have to lie or change their tune anymore. It's just an old argument. I don't know. I don't know why we got there, but that's what he wanted to bring up. And hey, it is what it is, man. He's entitled to his opinion, but I don't. We're not there anymore. We haven't been there for a while. A lot of people cape for Christian hip hop, and as he said, he was on their radar. He didn't duck the title. And there are people that are on their radar that do not duck the title. And then we get to, as the week continues, the arch nemesis of Christian hip hop, Mr. Marcus Rogers. Now he's had his issues with Christian hip hop and some of the artists that claim to be Christian hip hop artists. So we knew that this was coming, but in the honor of Pride Month, he wanted to let it be known that the reason your Christian hip hop artists, your favorite Christian hip hop artists, are silent on these topics is because they're rubbing elbows with people in the mainstream industry, and they can't, right? Paraphrasing, they can't or they won't, because this is what they want. The Christian artists are scared to speak out against the LGBTQ agenda because they're too busy trying to get signed or have the door open for them by people who are on the down low in the Christian music industry. Didn't I tell y'all that Christian hip hop is more popular now than it ever has been? I would be a fool to not say that there are people who are within these spaces who are connected, that have these beliefs or live these lifestyles, right? But to say that Christian artists don't speak out against it because that's what they is far from. Like, you could have said that, you know, they want more people to listen to their music and that's why, or they don't want to offend anybody, and you would have been more accurate. But if I go back down this list again of all the Christian hip hop artists that have blown up and are explicitly Christian, this makes this argument false again. Look, I'll give you this. Are there some? Sure. Let's just go with that. Because there's no way to say 100% that there's nobody doing this, right? I'm just giving you all my opinion from being on the side that I'm on, being in the media, kind of seeing how everything moves. I'm just giving you all my opinion. But for the sake of there never being any absolutes, right? Let me say that there are maybe some artists doing this. But is it enough to say that this is the reason why they're not speaking out? No. Like, here's my thing. I don't understand this. Well, and shouts out to Bryson Gray. He made it a little bit clear. He said because nobody is, right? But it's like, this is Marcus Rogers and Bryson Gray's, and a lot of people within the conservative Christian rap space. They make it their mission to say, you don't do this. And the one this that is the LGBTQ. And basically this is, you don't condemn like I condemn, so therefore you should be condemned because you should condemn this way. It's basically the way that this goes. And I don't want to say that this is what they are doing, but this is what it looks like, right? You don't do it the way that I do it, and because you don't do it the way that I do it, you must be called out because you're not following this path that was set for me. You're not following. You see how I did that? So, with that being said, again, I ask, what year are we in? Because this has been a constant topic within Christian hip hop, especially back in 2015 when Lecrae was really making his ascent into those spaces. But Christian hip hop is more popular now thanks to Kanye West and Go Cray. The space is way more popular now than it's ever been. Shouts out to social media. Thanks to social media. Social media is the only place where you can go from zero to hero in the matter of a reel. So it's not that surprising that Christian hip hop is popular as it is. Why? Because businesses can use it. Everything is about creating content. Businesses can use it. Partnerships would love to use this as well. It is all purpose. No matter if you at the cookout, no matter if you at the it's all purpose. If you at the give back or you at the egg drop at the church, this music can be paid. If you watching Snowfall or you watching VeggieTales, this music can be played. So the popularity, right? The parents who have turned their life around but still like stuff to bang a little bit, they're able to listen to this with their children and not be afraid of their children picking up some things that they probably shouldn't be at their age, right? That's why this is so popular. White people, look, guys, hey, I'm gonna just call it, white people can love this music or love this music. They get to experience the hood without actually experiencing all of the stuff in the middle, right? So that's why this is popular. You can, it's great for sports, right? Because you get hype, yet we ain't got to bleep out no words. Steph Curry got Bizzle's number. Like, what are we talking about here? Bizzle had an interview on Vlad because he went against exactly what you're talking about. That's one person who's never spoke or wavered on the topic from what I've seen. But that's my point. There are people out here who does this. Even those of you all who say they would never, as John Keefe said, he said, if that was me, I would have answered the question differently. And he gave his answer right then and there. There are people, you don't know. You think just because it's not a constant topic that they're not talking about it. And that's wrong. Mr. Rogers, please. But again, this is also a topic that we've talked about for a little bit. Maybe it's a slow content day for him. Maybe he was sitting and he was thinking about what videos to make. And he said, oh yeah, I got him now. I'm not sure, man. I'm not sure. This Marcus Rogers, he has had run-ins with Ruslan several different times. The issue is not that these things were brought up, whether it be the cussing with Derek Minor, whether it be people shunning the label, whether it be people not attacking the LGBTQ agenda because they have their own because they don't want to stop certain opportunities. Like, it's not the fact that these things are being said, but they don't happen at the frequency from which they used to, because we've had these conversations already. Because the people that were in those positions learned how to move from some things that they may have not gotten all the way correct. There is nothing that anybody's going to be able to do to rid it all. You're trying to let as many people know about what you feel is the truth as possible. But why does it always have to end in, or why does it always have to be attacking those that are not doing it the way you believe that it should be done? I don't know. Maybe you say, oh, well, we got to lead the blind. We got to try to get some of them over. But I don't know of many people that I've won over by yelling at them. I can't even win over my kids by yelling at them. Or telling them every single thing that they've done wrong. Or saying because they don't take out the trash the way that I take out the trash, they didn't do their chore. When that's wrong. The trash is gone. Oh, you just forgot to put a trash bag in it? Hey, you took trash out. Next time, try this. But I get it. Again, I was listening. Shouts out to Bryson Gray. Everybody does a soft approach. Okay, cool. But why does it have to be attacking the other side that isn't exactly doing what you're supposed to do or what you feel they're supposed to do? They have their own lane. They have their own space. They have their own group of people that they are speaking to. They have their own region that they are conquering. I just want to know what is in the air and why are we in 2015, man? You already know who it is, what it is, and what we do, baby. It is your boy Jay, and it's on.